Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in yet again. So I've got a few newbies. This is all thanks to Andy and Steph at Popcorn Planet, who I was one of multiple YouTubers that they got in touch with, and they have included us as part of the launch of their new channel, which is Popcorn Palace. So thank you for everyone that watched it and put the lovely comments underneath. As you can tell, I was super nervous. I know when I'm really nervous because I grin. And then because I don't actually have a lot of teeth, but when I'm really smiling like that, it was, someone actually asked if I'd had dental work done. I was like, no, that's just nerves. That's literally me trying not to mess up. But yeah, nerve-wracking, but it went okay. So thank you very much to Steph and Andy that had me on both channels, Popcorn Palace and of course Popcorn Planet. So the weekend, complete washout in the UK. I'm miserable. I am definitely getting the hump now. We're currently having temperatures as cold as like 12 degrees. I've had the heating on. I've just taken my jumper off and I've got slippers on, socks on. I'm dressed like it's winter, to be honest with you. The dogs are out there with the heating on and it's just utterly miserable. We managed to go out on the kayak yesterday. It was chucking it down with rain. I only managed to get a couple of photographs because it was on my phone. I didn't want to get him wet. But you just reach a point where you're like, I can't stay indoors all of the time. It really is one of the most miserable summers we've had in so many years, honestly. And they've said it's going to go on till August. So you're going to have some very, very sulky, stroppy Taz videos, unfortunately. So where to start? Let's talk about another YouTuber that you guys know that I follow, and that is Jesus. He's the body language guy, but he also has his separate channel, which is called The Royal Rogue. Now, he has got his hands on AI, artificial intelligence, to create photographs. He's done some really funny ones of Prince Harry, and he's done some of Meghan. Well, recently a story came out that Prince William doesn't like wearing kilts. Which is something that his father, King Charles, has always done. You know, it's just personal choice, personal preference, no judgment. So Jesus decided to create his own Prince William in a kilt. And this is so cleverly done. But I have to say, Prince William looks rather hot. There's just something about a man in a kilt. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, yes, the future king in a kilt. Now, speaking of the future king, there's been a lot of memes going around calling him the Burger King, and that is because Prince William has appeared because he's done a secret collaboration with another YouTube channel called Sorted Food. He's teamed up to make, and much to the public's surprise, even serve the burgers to unsuspecting hungry people. I've got to say, he looks in the flesh, not AI, absolutely gorgeous. He's got a bit of a slight tan and that shirt just makes his eyes pop, and that big smile. He looks so incredibly handsome and he just looks lovely. How could you look at him smiling and not just automatically smile back? Now, the burgers are all to do with the Earthshot Prize, and they have been created by using products to do with 3 different Earthshot winners from 2022. The Earthshot burgers were made from produce by winners of the Greenhouse in a Box. The company was called Kieti in India. They were then cooked in a mercury clean stove, which was made in Kenya and served in Notpla biodegradable cartons, which were created by a company in London. This is all part of the build-up to do with the Earthshot Prize 2023 to be held in Singapore in November. Now, Prince William is not the only royal prince, and it's the prince that not many people really want to see, and that is Prince Harry. He is also going over to Singapore, but thankfully for Prince William, in a completely separate month. So Harry is going over to Singapore to team up with Nacho, who he played polo with in Santa Barbara. They have been friends way back to when Harry was a teenager, possibly one of the only friendships that he was allowed to retain. Whilst he's out in Singapore, the eco-warrior that is Prince Harry will also be jumping over, no doubt on a private jet with Nacho the day before, to Tokyo. And whilst they're in Tokyo, they will be giving a speech. They're attending a philanthropy summit. You cannot make this up. Philanthropy is supposed to mean someone that gives donations of their own money to help other people. The whole thing with Archwell, they encouraged people to donate rather than directly to the causes donate to us, donate to Archwell. We'll do great things with your money. And as we know, as foundations work, they skim a lot of money off of the top of it. And very little amount of that donation actually gets to the causes that people perhaps intended it to go to. And that's the thing with foundations, always pay, and charities, some charities are just as bad, always pay directly to the cause that you want it to reach. But obviously with Harry and Meghan donating other people's donations, they then take credit for it. That to me is not philanthropy. The only pockets these two are interested and always have been of lining is their own. As for Harry, I am in no doubts that when he flies to Singapore, he'll be leaving Montecito on a private jet. When he flies to Tokyo, he will be on another private jet to then come back to play to Singapore to then jet back home. We know that Harry uses private jets all the time, that his carbon footprint, can you imagine the size of it compared to the people, the average person, the people that he is trying to promote his sustainable travel company, Friendless, to? So moving on to Friendless, it was created by Harry in 2019. He is the founder of it, the patron of it, and he was their marketing strategy. No doubt Harry promoting each and every meeting and presentation that he went to using helicopters, SUVs, a security motorcade to follow him because he was part of the royal family when he first started this up. And then, of course, the use of private jets. It would seem that Harry has become so unpopular that even the company that he set up don't really wish to use him as their marketing strategy anymore. He is not exactly being the face of the collaboration between the companies. Now, these are big power players. You've got Visa on board, TripAdvisor, Booking.com, Skyscanner. And they had a board meeting back in May and no one cared about it. No one knew about it. To be honest with you, it's understandable. What the world has been through over the last few years, we've watched rich people and politicians tell us what we need to do when they didn't do it themselves. The last thing we want now is rich people that spend billions of pounds on travelling, using the most expensive forms of private travel, which cause the most pollutions, telling us that we shouldn't be going to Tenerife for a week with the family once a year because we need to be eco-friendly. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. So of course it is going to completely just piss off the public further. But Harry is so disliked because of everything that's happened. Even his own company is saying, maybe you should sit this one out, Harry. There was absolutely no mention of Harry in what is a revamp, I guess, for the company, a relaunch, how it's moving forward with the future. And he was completely dropped from being mentioned at all. I think that's very telling. It's his company, so unless they've bought him out, he can't have been dropped completely. But they've quite clearly turned around and said, maybe we shouldn't have him as the face of it because people are already wanting to throw darts at him. The meeting also took place a couple of weeks after the big near catastrophic car chase that happened through New York that everyone knows didn't actually happen. So perhaps when these big board members got together and they were like, this has caused absolute hullabaloo, it has wasted police time, it's pissed off New Yorkers as a state because they just know it was completely ridiculous. They reportedly stopped actual police officers being able to do their job and going on to several other call-outs because they were too busy playing with the paparazzi and, you know, taking these shots that they could use for, we're being chased, we're being hounded. The whole stunt completely backfired on the couple. And then, of course, they've had this big board meeting a few weeks later. Perhaps they have had the chat going, look, you might be the one that founded it, but this is our money that's invested in this. So you need to really take a back seat and pipe down a little bit. If only it was that easy to get Harry and Meghan to pipe down. We could have all teamed together and done something about it for the last couple of years. But alas, it's not something that's going to stop anytime soon. It's already been announced that Meghan is getting ready to relaunch herself again with more friends, with bigger friends, more powerful friends. Now, this is the story that made me chuckle. It's made quite a few people chuckle because you're thinking she's running out of people. Gloria Steinem wanted Meghan to get that award because it also drew attention to that award being handed out. Meghan with her gold Hertz dress when she turned up, it would have been perfect for the coverage that she needed. But of course, because of Harry and Meghan's narcissistic attention-seeking need to be in the newspapers and to play victim, it was completely taken over, wasn't it, by everything, the fallout that happened in New York. We more recently had the news come out that Jill and Joe Biden turned around and said, no, you cannot share Air Force One for a lift home when they came back from the Queen's funeral. We know the Obamas have definitely decided to distance themselves from the couple due to the attacks that they did, especially the ones that were on the Queen. The Obamas were very fond of the late Queen, and having also spent time with William and Catherine on multiple occasions, they made it clear that they didn't approve of throwing family under a bus, especially for money. But also they understand that it is rocking the boat between countries now, but especially with their involvement trying to get into politics. It's not so much Meghan getting involved in politics, but using her title to do so, which of course has upset the Democrats. She has reportedly been blocked by Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, due to her persistent pestering and phoning of him. This is also similar for some US senators that Meghan cold called so she could get involved with several projects and was trying to get information on other senators, how she could become suddenly a candidate. I mean, honestly, this woman has got no boundaries whatsoever. Then you've got the fallout from Oprah. I can imagine, whilst Oprah took a massive payout for doing that interview, and it was incredibly lazy interviewing skills, she obviously had a lot of backlash from that, especially when the truth started to come out. And the fact that when the Queen did die, Archie and Lily were made Prince and Princess. Harry and Meghan said that they didn't want them to have titles anyway. You know, they chopped and changed their minds. So it goes to show that they completely lied to Oprah. It was a humiliating interview when you think they were lying about being married 3 days before. They had the money stopped. They had the security stopped, all because of racism. And they've dialed it all back. It has not done Oprah's credibility as an interviewer very much good. Then you've got Tyler Perry. It recently came out, you know, Harry and Meghan got discovered because someone had alerted the media and the press to where they were staying at Tyler Perry's house when they first moved to California. Well, the police investigated, and the police, through the agency that they contacted, found out it's actually Meghan or a staff member in that house, part of Harry and Meghan's team, that actually told the media, they notified the media where they were. So them putting up those big fences all around the house, it was a stunt to go, woohoo, we're over here, look, we're staying with Tyler Perry, we've got rich and important friends. So I don't know if Tyler has flown over there to have a word about that one, but I can't imagine that he's very happy about it, because Harry and Meghan played victims to him. They've lied to a lot of people, and also about a lot of people. We know that Meghan cut Harry off from all of his friends as soon as she could and his family. It's all to do with isolating her prey so it makes him easier to control. But one of the stories has resurfaced about how Meghan convinced Harry that Victoria Beckham, the former Spice Girl, the wife of David Beckham, was selling stories to the tabloids about Meghan, who she barely knew. And no matter what you think of the Beckhams or Victoria Beckham, she's a Spice Girl. This was one of the biggest girl bands in my lifetime. She has built up her empire, whether you like the clothes or you think they're too expensive. She has done. David has got a huge football career, which is now spanning across both sides of the Atlantic. For anyone to think that Victoria Beckham, for what, a cheap payout, would need to ring tabloids to grass up stories of Meghan, as I said, that expression, toasted ice to sell you. I mean, come on. Why? On what purpose would she do it? It was to get David so angry that he would finish his friendship with Harry, because I'm sure David could have been one of the few to talk sense into him. So naturally, of course, upon having his wife accused of going to tabloids and selling these cheap stories on a cheap oh dear, that's one of those Freudian moments, on a D-list, practically unheard of cable TV actress, he was angry and he phoned Harry, and I don't think their friendship has ever been the same. And of course, when you had the big Nicola Peltz and Brooklyn Beckham celebrity celebrity star-studded wedding, it was rumoured that they had invited William and Catherine, but they politely turned down the invitation, but they had not invited Harry and Meghan. But yeah, so I'd say that friendship's terminated. Then you have the jewellery designer, Jennifer Meyer. She's basically Hollywood royalty, successful jewellery business. People like Gwyneth Paltrow, Jennifer Aniston love her, wear her stuff. Meghan, no doubt by contacting her, saying, send me freebies and I will wear this for you. When Jennifer Meyer promoted Meghan wearing some of her designs, she was quickly shut down by the palace. I can imagine that probably was a little bit humiliating, especially when the papers picked it up. But also, you know that Meghan was the one that had said, give me your stuff, I'll wear it. No, it's absolutely fine, because we know that Meghan asked for loads of freebies as a royal. So I'm in no doubts that she was pretty upset about it. Then you had recently Meghan doing that paparazzi stunt where they were going to the A-list sushi bar, if there is such a thing. The photographers were there naturally, and Cameron Diaz was spotted outside with Benji, her husband. And it was sold to the magazines that Meghan's dining out with A-listers Cameron Diaz, and Gwyneth Paltrow was in there. Well, Gwyneth Paltrow's team, from what I read on social media, denied that she was even there. And others have said that Cameron is signed with the same talent agency. But to me, they didn't even look friendly. Cameron was looking at her phone and didn't even look up once. So I think that they were then again used to promote Meghan. Then you have Ellen and Portia's, whether that was, I can't remember if it was a birthday, but it turned into a surprise wedding vow renewal. Well, Harry and Meghan, funnily enough, were papped by TMZ and photographs got sold. So I can imagine that possibly, given Meghan's love of ringing the paparazzi and magically photographs being leaked, that might have, just saying, pissed off Ellen anyway. Who took the photos? Who sold the photos? Why was it was sold as Harry and Meghan were at this event when you had actual real A-list stars like Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox? Why weren't their photographs taken and sold to the magazines? It was Harry and Meghan that they were interested in, which makes me think they were part of it. The Clooneys, they didn't know them anyway. George Clooney admitted on an interview that he had not met Harry and Meghan prior to their wedding. And then, of course, you had Amel, who attended as part of Meghan's star-studded celebrity taxpayer-funded networking event. All right, they didn't pay for her baby shower, but the Scotland Yard officers were paid by the taxpayer to go over there while she wined and dined and went out with her friends and spent £500,000 on a baby shower. It was all very tacky, I would say, especially for a member of the royal family. There was nothing wrong with her going to see her friends and celebrating. These weren't friends. It was Gayle King, for the love of God. You know what I mean? These are not friends of theirs. These are all people. Again, Meghan was using it as a networking event. And that's the problem. That says absolutely everything about Meghan. Everything to her is an opportunity. It's a networking event. People are transactional. They're not human beings. Meghan uses people to get ahead in life. And the fact that they're now saying that Meghan is lining herself up with new, more powerful friends. One of them that was mentioned is Ari Emanuel, and he is the one that runs the WME talent agency that she's signed with. Now, there are a lot of rumours that have come out that they've already come to loggerheads because Meghan is the one that's still setting up these paparazzi strolls. She's not listening to them, much like we saw with Sunshine Sachs, but also apparently she kicked off. She was very, very angry and upset over the fact that their Netflix show didn't win an Emmy. She apparently was ready with champagne on ice to celebrate and was so furious she picked up the phone and gave him a mouthful. As you can imagine, if that story is, of course, true, pinch of salt with a lot of this stuff, you can imagine that Ari hasn't taken that too well. He's in effect given Meghan a leg up by signing her when her popularity is at an all-time low. Personally, I think the best thing that Meghan can do moving forwards, and the best way to make lots of friends that will never betray her, they will always do what she wants them to do, they will always tell her how amazing and fabulous that she is. I think she should just make friends with all of her multiple personalities, and I think she'll be set for life. She can have a party in her head, an awards ceremony whenever she wants. She can have arguments and conversations with herself, and most importantly, she will always hear that round of applause and how fabulous she is, being told to her multiple times a day by multiple people. I think, as I said, that's the best way forward for Meghan. So guys, I will be back with you as soon as possible. I'm off to London tomorrow. I will be visiting a couple of museums for a bit of fun with a friend, so I will tell you all all about that when I come back later during the week. So that's it for me on this video, and I will see you soon. Take care for now. Bye.